Love to Hate, the podcast that asks the question, what do you love to hate?
You are a smelly pirate hooker. And I hate your ass face!
Do you love it?
No!
Do you hate it?
Oh, yeah. Yes! You stupid, ignorant son of a bitch, dumb bastard! I toss in your general direction!
No more foreplay.
Hey kids, it's Monday, so you know what that means. It's time for another edition of Love to Hate with me, Philip Fullman.
And me, Brandon Luna.
That's 2 weeks in a row now that we've tried to do a better
Flippity-ski.
The hell?
That's my new word. That's my happy
Well,
word
say
for
that
today.
one more time because I didn't quite catch it.
Flippity-ski.
All right.
I just made it up.
How do you? I was going to say how do you,
I don't
spell
know.
that? So what's up your ass today, Brandon?
You know what's up my ass today? I got a big one right up my ass. It's called the HOA, the Homeowners Association.
Ah, yes.
Fuck
more-
those guys.
More hall monitors.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. HOAs and the FDA.
HOAs are just the bane of my existence, man. I bought the home 13 years ago, and if we were able to opt out of that, and I thought for a time we would have been able to, I would have, because it's such a pain in the royal ass.
They are...
Or royal pain in the ass. Whichever way you want to look at that.
No, they're a complete pain in the ass. They make all these rules. They want you to abide by them, but then when you try to abide by them and call them, or at least in my case, call them, ask them a question, they never respond, ever.
Yeah. Ours has a lovely webpage you can go to submit questions, and supposedly a forum where you can talk to other people that are in the community. None of that shit works. None of that shit works. The only way you can get a hold of them is if they send you a letter saying, hey, you need to cut your grass, and there's a phone number attached to it. You can call that, which is an answering service, and leave a message, and maybe they'll call you back.
See, and I've gotten those letters before. Hey, you need to cut your grass. It's rained for 2.5 weeks. The grass is still soaking wet. What do you want me to do?
Right.
It's just all these little things, and I don't know, and we can get into this part a little bit later, but it's almost like they've taken the responsibility, or they're there to ensure that your neighbors take pride in their home. Whereas, that never was an issue when I was growing up. Regardless of the neighborhood, most people took pride in how their home looked.
Yeah.
And so you didn't have to do stuff like that, but now you got people staying on top of you about it. But it goes way beyond just, hey, mow your grass or, fix your fence that's falling down. They're going after people just for not paying dues.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you have the authority to do that? What was that story you were telling me earlier?
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand how much power the HOA has. So back in 2008, and this happened in Frisco, Texas, there was a soldier that went away to Iraq. He had his house, part of an HOA. It was paid for. He paid off his $300,000 home. But the HOA was able to take the home away from him because he had past due amount of $800 and sold the house on auction for $3,500. That is ridiculous. Now, it was overturned, but still, the fact that they had the power to do that without anybody asking any questions is ridiculous.
That no group should have the ability to sell your home.
No, and no one should be able to tell me what I have to do with my home. I mean,
right.
I bought the house. I'm paying the mortgage, especially if it's paid off. I mean, if you paid off,
sure.
Fuck you, HOA. I don't want to pay your dues anymore. Kiss my ass,
Yeah.
But because you're living in that property, that area.
Well, they are going to keep the common area nice for you, Brandon. Plus, you get the community pool.
Yeah, I don't get a community pool, and the common area is bullshit. So, I mean, they really serve no purpose other than to piss me off and to bitch me out.
No, I agree.
I mean, I need to do.
There's stuff that I see with my HOA, and it's like, come on, this is just you're going after these niggling little details. That the house looks fine. Why are you ragging on these people about this? Because it's like, well, that doesn't conform to. It's like, is it a wooden fence? Is it a nice wooden fence? Then shut up.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they want everything to be uniform. It's the idea of we've got to keep everything looking cookie cutter, and they end up. It's very snobby. Also, there was a guy, I don't know if it was in Frisco, but it was here locally in Collin County. Boy, we're ragging on Collin County a lot last couple of weeks, but deservedly so. And he parked his Ford F-150, brand new Ford F-150. This is Texas. We love trucks.
Yeah.
And this was not a work truck. This was his sedan, if you will. This was a nice truck that you just drove around in. Didn't actually use as a work truck.
It was an equivalent of a Cadillac for him.
Yeah.
Right. It was his nice truck.
Yeah, decked out. And they sent him a letter saying he couldn't park it in the driveway because they didn't allow that type of vehicle to be displayed. And it was too big to park in his garage.
Wait, this is in Texas, right?
Yes.
What the hell?
The state that has dress jeans.
Right.
Because, as you know, nice black jeans, appropriate for a funeral or a wedding in Texas.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And
you got to have a nice crease in them. You got to put a crease.
Yeah,
in
got to have the starch crease.
Yeah.
But yeah, told the guy he couldn't park it there.
And probably more trucks per capita than any state.
Oh, without I would imagine other than maybe per capita. Probably more trucks, but per capita, maybe Wyoming, Montana, some of those have more.
Right.
But there was also another one where they said the guy was flying too big a flag. He was he was a retired vet, World War II guy.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, take him on. He's seen the horrors of Normandy Beach and Iwo Jima. Yeah, you want to tell him his flag's too big?
Right.
Yeah, that old man's going to come after you. And again, it was another battle because they're like, well, it makes noise because you've got somebody next to you. You got Gladys Kravitz going, I can hear the flag ripping, like whatever. Right. The man's got a flag out. As long as it's not the size of Texas Stadium and, dragging on the ground, I don't see a problem with that. I mean, do I want my neighbor to paint his house purple? No. But at the same time, as long as it's in good repair and, in my neighborhood, I'm not allowed to do car maintenance. You can't change the oil in the driveway of your home in my neighborhood. Now, fortunately, I don't change my oil anymore. I usually take it to the place up the street or whatever. But growing up, my dad always worked on our car in the driveway. My brother always worked on his car in the driveway. And that was the thing. You, on Saturday, had some project in the driveway, be it vehicular or construction related, and you had a cooler full of beer, and all your neighbors came over, and you all worked on the project together. And it was how the men in the neighborhood hung out, and you worked on the car, and they weren't saying, well, it's lowering. It's not lowering your property value, just because a guy works on his own vehicle. It makes no sense to me. But somewhere we've got all these busybodies saying, well, I don't like seeing that. Well, then move to the gated community where nobody can get in, and you have the lawn boy and the car boy and whatever other boys you have to do stuff around the house for you.
Yeah.
If that's really what you're looking for. But it's just one of those things where especially the middle class is the one trying to really up the ante to make it look like we're better than we are. I mean, I get it. You live in the fucking gated community and you're a wealthy guy. Sure. What the hell? Why not?
Right.
But, man, we're just some slobs living in the suburbs, and you're trying to tell me that I can't park my vehicle, I can't do this, or, the little pole on my fence is sticking up a little too much and you're going to fine me for that? I actually did get a fine for that.
Really?
Yeah, redid my fence because we had some wind damage and put a new post in. And the top of the post, I would have had to have gotten a metal saw to cut the top off to make it flush. And they sent a fine saying, well, we can see it over the top of the fence, and that's against the regulations.
Wow. Yeah. I'll tell you how regulations affected me recently. So I recently had to get my fence redone.
Yeah, you lost like an entire wall.
Yeah. So couple things. Okay, so I had to get the fence redone, our wooden fence, and we have a retaining wall on one side of us. Now, the retaining wall is 6 foot. I wanted to do an 8-foot fence because I wanted a little more privacy. Oh, well, HOA, you have to go to the HOA for it. You have to submit it. So the fence company submitted it to the HOA for me to get approval, and they came back as, no, you have to do 6 foot because it has to match the size of the retaining wall. I'm like, that's my fence that I'm paying for. Why do I give a shit if it matches your retaining wall? Well, we want it to look aesthetically pleasing and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? So I had to go with a 6-foot fence to make the HOA happy. The other thing that happened was the retaining wall got destroyed because I had a tree on my side of the fence line that fell over in the hard wind and broke the retaining wall. So my issue with that was, well, the retaining wall that's your you guys have to deal with that. You're supposed to maintain that, so you pay to fix it. And they're like, well, it was your tree, so you need to pay for it. It's act of God. I'm like, all right, so what happens if a car from the street runs into it from that side? Is that something you would fix? Well, we'd have to review it at that point, but that'd probably be the person who ran into it responsibility. I'm like, what if they hit and run? Well, then that would probably fall to you. I'm like, no. I said, I'll tell you right now, if that happens, you're fucking paying for that fence to get fixed because there's no reason that I should have to pay for some damage from the street side. I think, personally.
No, I agree with you. It's so frustrating because, again, you've got these people coming up and just making up these rules all to say it has nothing to do with aesthetically pleasing. An 8-foot fence would be just as aesthetically pleasing, probably help the resale value and give you more privacy and make it a nicer home, which you are currently paying a mortgage on.
Exactly.
And HOA fees, but they want it to be cookie cutter. We live in this fucking cookie cutter society. Every Starbucks looks the same. Everything, everywhere. We're just going with this ability to just churn these things out in mass where there is no uniqueness to anything. It robs. That's part of, like we talked about last week, the urban sprawl. Everything just looks the same.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't value or save the things we used to have. I like that Eddie Izzard line from Dressed to Kill when he's like, "We rebuilt this to the way it was 50 years ago," and they're like, "No, nobody was alive."
Right.
You know, because we will easily tear something down just to put up something new that's like, hey, it's modern. We don't care about old homes. We'd just as soon tear down an old home and put up a new stucco home or a prefab.
Right.
And that's the other thing. Every home in this area looks the fucking same.
Yeah.
There is no uniqueness to it. You get to choose model A, B, or C.
Correct.
And we'll change up the trim on it and maybe the color of the front door.
Maybe you can flip some stuff on the interior, but the outside's got to look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there was a scene in Pushing Tin where John Cusack drives to his house and he's in the wrong driveway because all the houses look the same. And that actually happened to me. I was dropping my kid off at a friend's house and I pulled into the wrong driveway. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "It's that one over there." I'm like, they all look the same.
Right.
And I remember growing up, all the houses in my neighborhood looked different. Mm-hmm. But now it's just, hey, you know what? It's cheaper to come up with a pattern.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's like going and getting those McCall's patterns at the store like your mom used to do so she could make her own whatever dress or whatever.
Yes.
A loss of creativity.
Definitely.
There's no uniqueness.
There isn't until you get to the $1 million homes. Then those builders sometimes
even those look
crazy.
the fucking same.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, look at this giant stone. Kind of looks like a castle, doesn't it? Yes. I'm making a lot of money. Like, it looks like shit.
So here you go. 7 silliest homeowners association battles in suburban history.
Are we going in ascending order?
Well, nah, not necessarily.
I was going to give you a countdown. But,
right. The clothesline limitation. So this woman in Oregon wanted to have clotheslines to dry her clothes, not because she didn't have a dryer, but because she thought that she liked the way it smelled. She was being green, helping the environment by not running the
Oregon.
dryer.
You think they'd love that.
Or costs go down on, electricity.
Sure.
But no, they said that wasn't allowed. And she had to sue them over that so that she could continue to do so.
Did she win?
She did win, yeah.
Excellent.
The kangaroo rights. This one's great. Someone in Spring, Texas got their mentally disabled daughter a therapy kangaroo, which is a little strange.
Sure.
A 6-foot tall kangaroo.
But I'm not a therapist, so who am I to
exactly.
say?
Homeowners Association sent the family a letter asking immediate removal of the kangaroo. The public and press protested on behalf of the family, causing the Homeowners Association to back out of the initial claim. The Homeowners Association was embarrassed, publicly stating that they had no idea that the kangaroo was intended for therapeutic means. Classic example of Homeowners Association inserting its foot into its mouth.
Exactly. How do you come back from that and go, oh, you know what? We really apologize for looking bad. Like, no, you know what? You were being dicks. Mm-hmm. Yep. And now you've got to sit there and cover it and apologize. Just come out and go, you know what? We were being dicks.
It's basically, like I said, it's a hall monitor / bully situation in your neighborhood.
Sure.
Is really what it is. The flag flyer, that's the one you were talking about, the guy in Ohio, retired veteran that was raising the flag and all that jazz. 10-foot – oh, wow. While filing the lawsuit, it would be one thing for Quigley to have had a 10-foot purple dinosaur statue in his yard, but it was a flag of our nation's whatever, and so the Home Association lost on that one as well. Driveway dilemma, that's the one you talked about with the Ford truck, $200,000 legal battle over that. He won the case as well as $187 in legal fees, $187,000, which is nice.
So he's still on the hook for 20.
Yeah. Kids in play problem. Residents in Florida had been told that the local homeowners association that will be passing a law that would ban their children from playing outdoors in the confines of their own yards.
No. Go back. What?
They were trying to ban kids playing in yards, saying the edict specifically states that children cannot play outside without constant adult supervision. They're also prohibited to engage in skateboarding, tag, or any other running games or using loud toys. Homeowners Association made it such that children can't be children in this particular county. When the law came into fruition, there were a $100 fine for breaking it. As expected, parents within the community decided to fight it out.
Does it say what the outcome was?
No, it doesn't say on that one.
You know, because a lot of times when people buy houses, they look at the size of the yard because they want their children to play. You want them to go outside and you want them to make friends. That's the whole point of having a fucking home and not living in an urban apartment.
Right, right.
I mean, if you're the type of person who doesn't want to live around kids, go live in a neighborhood where it's an older neighborhood and they don't have a lot of kids. But what the hell is the point if you can't let your kid play in the yard? Because a game of tag is going to what? Disrupt your Tai Chi or your yoga?
Yeah.
Come on, they're fucking kids. They're supposed to enjoy the things they have. Are they allowed to play in the backyard? I mean, that's the things we took for granted as a child. And now people are saying, no, because it really disturbs me. Well, tough shit. You know what? There is stuff that is going to disturb you every place you go in life. And you can't have somebody come in and regulate it. Do I like the jackass who sits there and takes 45 minutes to write a goddamn check at the grocery store? No, but that's his right to pay with a check. It's an irritant, but there shouldn't be a law saying, well, you can no longer write a check. You know, you can't legislate all your pet peeves out of existence. That's just part of what they are. That's why they tell people, learn to deal with your stress, because life is stressful. Yep. Fucking get a podcast and bitch about it. That's what we did.
Yeah.
God
nicely done, sir. Nicely done.
Thank you.
The Christmas light flight.
Oh, we weren't even done. Wow, did I pull the trigger too quick?
Christmas light fight. So this is in Philadelphia. Homeowners Association passed a law saying that they can only decorate their house with white Christmas lights because it was non-specific and they wanted all the houses to look the same. And this woman put up the colored lights because she's like, hey, I've had these in my family for a billion years. They mean something to me. She took the $400 fine. Apparently, even though she got petitions from the whole neighborhood, that still holds. So,
and there are some neighborhoods though that participate in, we're lighting the neighborhood. And if you don't participate, then you take crap for that.
Right.
Because it's like, well, they're not in the holiday spirit. It's like, hey, maybe they're like me. Maybe Hanukkah's their thing and not Christmas, and they don't decorate the house.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, they'll get mad at you if you don't decorate.
Yeah, here's another one too. Handicap spot. This is the last one. In Lakewood, Colorado, a disabled veteran was battling the local homeowners association over his right to a handicapped parking spot in the condominium where he lived. According to the veteran, he'd been parking on the curb for years, but the homeowners association painted over it when they resealed the lot. They took it upon themselves to decide exactly how handicapped the man is, claiming that he hadn't demonstrated the need for the spot, even though Cook uses a wheelchair and has wheelchair access fans. Wow. That sucks. What? And that didn't get turned over either.
So he couldn't demonstrate. The fact that he is in a wheelchair was not enough to convince him he's handicapped.
Nope. That sucks. I would take that to the state personally.
Absolutely. Like, what do I have to do? It's not like I'm on a cane. I'm in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And not temporarily. I've invested in the van.
Exactly. Yeah. That's messed up shit. So HOA, they overreach their bounds a lot. It seems like I get a letter at least a couple times a summer about my yard. It's always 3 days after it's already been cut, but they're on it.
Oh, yeah, they're still. Oh, yeah, because they have people who go by and take pictures.
Yeah,
because these people have jobs. Somebody hires people to go work at the HOA, and you got to figure these are people who probably don't have a lot of employment skills because God knows they can't return a phone call.
Right.
And they send them around in their cars to spy on your home and take pictures.
I figure
which is just a little creepy.
I figure it's soccer moms who are stay-at-home moms. Their husband's a doctor, lawyer, whatever. They can afford to have one person not working, and they just walk around the neighborhood and take notes
and just bitch about
about stupid crap. Yeah,
we
had one battle we won, and I'm kind of
what was that?
I really don't want to say this out loud, but I'm going to because now it's probably going to come back and bite me. But we had a couple trees in the front yard, and this is two battles. So when they built the house. They were rushing to get it done. We were supposed to be in the house by October. We didn't get it until November. We wanted to be in before Christmas. And when they put all the different shrubberies outside, instead of making it look the way it should look, where it's symmetrical, they put all of one shrub on one side and all of another shrub on the other side. So it looks completely stupid. It's horrible. But we never changed it. And HOA came at us about 6 months into being in the house and saying, your shrubs don't match. You got to fix your shrubs. And we basically said, fuck you, that's the way a homeowner did it. We're not paying to fix it. They're going to pay for it, or we're not going to do it. Well, you need to put in a petition to have them pay for it. Put in the petition to have them pay for it. They never responded. Left it at that. The other thing they did was they put 2 trees in the front yard that were obviously not good trees. They died within 6 months of us owning the house. So the trees, we pulled them out of the yard. Letter from the HOA. You need to have trees in your front yard. It says on the HOA thing that you have to have, this kind of shrubbery and these kind of trees. We looked at the bylaws, read all the details. Like nothing in there that says anything about us having trees. Fuck you guys, we're not putting trees in. Well, don't you want the yard to look nice? Looks nice the way it is. We don't need trees. So we never put the trees back in.
See, and when I was putting trees in, had 2 trees wanted to put in the front yard. Called for a month and a half. Voicemail, email, everything to get a hold of the HOA. Where can I put these trees? Is it okay? Never heard. Put the trees in, never heard a thing. 1 tree died, took it out, then heard about it. Like, well, there's a little stub there. You got the whatever. Yeah, I can't even
trunk sticking out.
Yeah, the trunk sticking out, and heard about that. And it was a small trunk, but that needed to be addressed. It's like, okay, so you guys. All this time I'm trying to abide by the rules. You don't respond. Mm-hmm. And I had the same thing with the mailbox. The garbage truck in our neighborhood actually busted the mailbox.
Nice.
And it's one of those that sits on like a bird perch. It's like a giant T, and then you have a box on one side, box on the other. So there's all this weird hardware that goes to it. You can't go to Home Depot and pick up this hardware. It's custom made by the company the HOA had. So keep getting these messages from the post office and from the HOA. You need to get this fixed. And it's like, where do we find this? And I kept calling and like, well, you need to talk to so-and-so who handles your, and like, get her on the phone. I finally said, look, and I became so irate. And then I'm like, okay, so what's the name of the company I have to call to get this stuff and I'm like, so you guys don't pay for it? No. I'm like, even though you requested this particular material that nobody can buy. Yeah. So like, fine, give me their number. So called, finally had them come out and fix it. But I mean, it was just a series of escalating phone calls because like, I want my damn mail.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know why. I don't get anything good in it, but
yeah, we had our mailbox stolen.
Huh?
Yeah, someone just ripped our mailbox off and took it. It was weird.
What kind of mail do you get that somebody wants it?
Illegal mail.
Wow.
No.
Stuff in brown envelopes.
I have no idea, but it was just weird. We just went out there one day. It wasn't like they hit it with a baseball bat and it was on the ground. It was gone. And I have no idea why, but we ended up replacing it. But that was just one of those weird things that I think, kids did or something. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah,
a kid whose mom is probably on the HOA.
Probably, yeah.
And doesn't have time to watch after her kid because she's busy running around with the HOA.
Kid got in trouble for playing out in the front yard.
Yeah, so he got bored.
Rebuilding his brother's car.
See? Yeah, they're turning him into little criminals.
Right.
Because they're not getting outside. So basically, HOAs, by having that rule, are contributing to childhood obesity.
Yes, definitely. I mean, that's definitely.
I mean, you can make a tangential argument that way. I mean, it's idiotic, but I mean, it's no more idiotic than some of the arguments they make.
I'm surprised there hasn't been an HOA like no Pokemon Go in the park type thing yet. Only between these hours because other people got to use the park. Yeah,
I'm sure there'll be some sort of rule or regulation come up about that. I don't know. It's the idea of you have to regulate behavior to some extent to have a civil society so we can all get along. But when it just becomes nitpicky,
yeah,
it's like why? Why don't you have enough to do? I would hate to live in those homes. Can you imagine just how anal those people are? Oh my God, it's out of order. It's got to be this way. No. I couldn't stand it.
Serious OCD people, probably.
You would think.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Now I'm riled up too.
Yeah.
Let's go knock down a wall and steal a mailbox.
Right. I wish we could find out who these people are that run these things so we could just make their life a living hell.
It would be great.
It'd be great.
It would be great. I know that the name of mine is Lone Star Management, and they run like a bunch of different HOAs, but like I said, you can never get a hold of them.
Yeah. It's a pain in the ass.
So
HOAs can suck it.
Anyway.
So we've killed
another episode
Yep.
is done. Wrapped up. Send your questions and comments and concerns and ideas for the show to
Love to Hate Pod, and that's love, number 2, hate pod at Twitter. You have 140 characters to tell us what you want us to love to hate on, or if you have any suggestions or comments, you can do it there. You can also email us at Love to Hate. We have an email on Gmail, so it's Love to Hate at Gmail.
And we still got the Facebook page.
We still have a Facebook page you can go to, like that, make a comment there, whatever. And you can hear us on iTunes, Spreaker. We're on YouTube as well, so there's lots of ways you can ingest the show.
Fantastic. That's another week. We'll talk to you later, kids.
See you next time.